Afternoon, ladies. I was chatting with Chris yesterday, and she mentioned that you noticed that I hadn't put in my post-match report or my post-match thoughts. So just quickly on that, you guys played fantastically on Sunday. I think we moved the ball really well. We took our chances. We made sure that we were faster and quicker and more to the ball than the opposition ever were. I expect us to build on this. I don't want us to get complacent. It's actually, in my experience, it's sometimes difficult to come off a big win like that and put in another performance. So I just want us to be really on top of that and aware and making sure that we're having a really good performance this weekend. And on that, I'm going to have a bit chat here. I'll try and keep it short and brief, but just a little bit on how we're playing, what shape we're going to be putting forward. Yeah, let's get stuck into it. So as you can remember from the past video, if you've watched it, we're kind of set up like this. We've evolved a little bit and we've been playing a little bit more like this, having a bit of a classic number 10 here to join the attack with the two holding midfielders. As anyone in the defense or anyone that's aware would know, we kind of play with a bit more of a sweeper, and then the three across the middle, that left back and right back, tucking a little bit as well to make sure we're supporting. But in the Sydney game, Sydney University game, we did go to a back four, and that's what we're going to be doing this weekend as well. So I want to just talk a little bit to it, just so we're all kind of across the shape. This is what it is. I mean, I'm calling it a 5-2-3, but you could also say it's a 1-4-2-3, or these two are actually a bit further up, so it could even be a 3-4-3. And that's what we'll kind of be looking at in attack. So essentially, still got the sweeper, doing really well. Alberto and Chris have been absolutely like nailing it at that sweeper role. But in a bit of contrast to some of the games we've played, we're going to be having two centre backs like we did in the Sydney game. So just making sure they're kind of tucking and making sure that they're looking out for this danger zone. Again, the sweeper, so if that's Chris or Alberta, we'll be directing them. Because that sweeper's there, they know that they can essentially go out and be aggressive in tackles and winning the ball back for us to break out of defense. What it means for our right and left back, it means they have a little bit more freedom, a little bit more security to go forward, and just knowing as well that you're the best outlets whenever we win the ball back here, which is essentially where we'll be doing most of the turnover in play. Not to say that you can't win up front. I do always reward, and I think it's a really good mentality to get into, to think that if you press more effectively, we can win the ball back here. We haven't really got the opportunity to get into some real pressing drills, but we'll get back into that a bit later in the year. But as a winger, whenever I played wing, because I like to sort of challenge, I like to press, I like to run. A lot of the time I'd win it back, and probably half the goals that I ever scored was because I'd won the ball back. And if you win the ball back up here, the defense is going to be ready for it. They're going to be trying to get to attacking plays, and generally you can have a run, have a shot, and you'll have a bit of success. But just a bit more about this formation and what it's going to look like. As you can tell, we've kind of lost that number 10, or that sort of third midfielder. So it does mean the midfield will be doing a lot of running. You'll be covering, tracking back and forward. Also means that it's pretty pivotal, and they'll actually have a bit more space because we'll be looking a lot at the perimeter with these four players in particular. So there'll be heavy rotation, but yeah, just make sure you're always tracking would be my biggest thing. And whenever we're joining that attack, just making sure that it's your pass that sort of triggers that run from yourself to join the attack. And why that is generally because if the ball hasn't come to you, and say, for example, it's gone from our wing backs up to our wingers, it generally means that we've broken pace and we've essentially bypassed the midfield. What that means is the opposition will be a little bit out of position as well, because if you haven't had a chance to get involved in play, it means that we've done quite a quick transition, and means that a lot of their midfield and a lot of their forwards will still be around here. So if we commit midfielders when that's happened, it generally means that they'll have players up here and we'll be outnumbered if it does break. That makes sense. I'll explain a little bit further. We want to play through our midfield and involve them in the attack. But if the ball does bypass midfield, I want midfielders to stay. So midfielders to hold back and make sure that you're covering our defenders. If the ball comes straight over the top, or it's a long ball that goes to the wingers, that's our trigger to have midfielders dropping deep and defending. Yeah. So one of the biggest things to sort of look out for, and the reason we'll be playing this is because the 4 danger players. So what Sydney, oh no, sorry, what UNSW, the team we're versing on Sunday, played last time we versed them was just a 4-4-2, which means your danger players are your 2 strikers, or I think they played for a little bit. One dropped a little bit deeper and they played like a 4-1-1. But it means that we can essentially sync up. So our right and left back, when we're defending, always tracking the right and left mid of the opposition, and our centre backs can essentially nullify these 4 players, the strikers there, with a sweeper as a numerical advantage for us as defenders. That's why we're playing this. There will be midfielders, obviously, you try and track them as much, but I'm less concerned about those midfielders or the players that are further back, essentially. Cool. So what we'll be doing when we get to the forwards, and this is just a little bit from takeaway from the weekend and something that has happened to us in the past. Our wingers are doing really well at essentially bringing the ball up. We're getting quite good breaks. We're making sure that we're making possession useful and converting a lot of opportunities up front. There is chances that we're kind of missing a little bit when our wingers progress the ball really well, get into this final third, or even this final fifth, and then find themselves a little bit trapped in the wing. What we're going to be doing in this game and going forward, whenever we play with that back 5, is making sure our left and right backs are coming up and being an option here. What happens once this ball comes back, essentially, is up to the wingers, and I'm not going to say you have to do anything. I really want you all to make your own decisions on the pitch. Ask me questions or like see what works. I don't want you guys to be robots. I want you to develop as footballers as well as a team. So yeah, coming up and just making sure that's the option. As we can see in this one, these are, if I didn't say before, these are the opposition. A lot of the time we'll come up here and you'll definitely get your wing back or your full back pressing and try to win the ball back. But a lot of the time it drags a centre back as well. So you'll see this happen. What I want you to do as if you're playing in this wing position is to sort of have a look, make sure if they haven't committed, if you do think you can take this player on, yeah, try and get around them. When it is a 2, so they've got someone backing them up, the best option here is always to come back. And hopefully you'll have a midfielder coming in to give an option, and as well as your right back. So these should be your 2 most viable options, because realistically, if they've pulled across and you get it down here, it comes over here, they're probably going to have, they probably have another centre back here, and then because of what good teams will do is they'll kind of come across here, and we can either go here or come to our midfielder, come across, and this person should be coming in because our striker will usually come across. We've got a bit of a shot there at the back. Going side to side is essentially something that good possession teams do. Remember, we're trying to focus on possession, playing those simple passes until we can build up and break. Essentially making the space for ourselves. So side to side passes are just a really key factor that we've been working on and doing really well with. Cool. Defense, yeah, like I said before, just always listening to our sweeper. Sweeper has the best view of the field, so they'll be sort of dictating these 2. If you feel like as one of the centre backs, your wing back is going a bit too far, maybe being a little bit too adventurous, just let them know, hey, come back a little bit, be my easy option. Although I think the players we have in centre back will be able to take decent long balls, it's only when they really need to or when they see a good pass. It should be essentially going to your right back as an easy pass. They're going wide this is attacking, when we won possession, coming out here and they're playing forward. Also, if you've made that pass as one of the centre backs, I do encourage you to sort of play that 1-2 we've been working on as well in training. Run up and be another option. Yeah. Because we've got 2 here, that happens. This centre back comes across. Our sweeper as well can come across and cover if there's danger, and just be part of the attack. Right back or left back as well. Very attacking. Get involved, get in there when we're in that transition when we've got the ball. I think that's it. Yeah, these 2 slides are pretty similar. Cool. All right, ladies. Thanks. I hope that wasn't too long. Keen for Sunday. It's going to be a really good game. So, Looking for the tropicals. You.